Hello and welcome to Rathods IS Academy. Today in this session we are going to see current affairs of 30th November 2024. So let's get started with our discussion without wasting any time. Okay, say this article guys, first article. Okay, title says GDP growth hits 5.4% in quarter 2, lowest in 7 quarters. So what is this article talking about? Keyword here is GDP growth. And second keyword is it is lowest in which quarter? Quarter 2. Okay. So first keyword is GDP growth. And second one is quarter 2. So what is GDP? In which subject you will be dealing with this? Okay. From GS paper 3 under economy, you will be reading this topic GDP. So what is the full form of GDP? Gross domestic product. And what is this GDP? Okay, the total value of intermediate goods or final goods. Yes, it is the total value of final goods which are produced in a country within a time period. What is the time period? Within 1 year. Okay, so GDP is calculated in how many methods? Okay, 3 methods. What are they? Income method. Next. Income method. Okay, consumption method. Next. Value added method, right? Okay. So why we have to go for estimating of GDP growth? Now this article is saying that GDP growth had been decreased. Okay. So here my question is why we have to go for checking of our GDP growth? What is the necessity of following this growth estimates every quarter? So what is a quarter? Quarter means 1/4. Yes. So in a year we have 12 months. So we are dividing year into 4 parts. That means we have 3 months in each quarter. So now in the second quarter, this article is saying that growth had been decreased radically. Okay. So why we have to go for this growth estimates? Why we need this data? Why we need this data? Why we need to have this data? Is that data necessary? Then why? So what we will do with this data? Yes. So we have fiscal policy, we have monetary policy. What is this fiscal policy? Okay, it is the government policy. What is this monetary policy? By RBI. Next. So for proper fiscal policy and monetary policy, we need this data. Apart from this, we need to understand how the consumption is happening, right? So whenever we are calling it as the total value of final goods, so when the GDP will be increasing, whenever there is increasing or huge consumption in the market, whenever there is high demand in the market, what happen? Obviously the production of goods will be increased, that will lead to increasing of GDP. So that means here this article is saying that decreasing of GDP growth. That means do we have the demand in the market? No. So there is decreased demand in the market. And next one here is there is decreasing of consumption in the market. So why there is decreasing of consumption? There is decreasing of purchasing power. P is decreasing. Purchasing power of people is decreasing. So now what is the reason? Now tell me why there is decreasing of demand and why there is decreasing of consumption or the purchasing power. So when this purchasing power of these people will be decreased, in which condition? Inflation, right? Yes, very good. Because of inflation in the market, there is decreasing of demand and decreasing of consumption and decreasing of purchasing power. And which kind of inflation we can see in the market? Food inflation, yes. Apart from that, even there is okay, now tell me one more question I want to ask, how our core sectors are working. So what is this core sector? Okay, funds 3C. So there are 8 things which are present in that core sectors. That is nothing but fertilizer. E for electricity, R for refineries, N for natural gas, S for steel, 1C is for coal, crude oil and cement. So in these core sectors, how they are working? There is decreasing of growth in this core sector. So because of this, we can say there is decreasing of GDP estimates in this quarter two. And one more thing here is, if you go to the different sectors of our economy, can you tell me the different sectors? Primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector, quaternary sector and quinary sector. So actually we will be taking care of only first three, primary, secondary and tertiary. So in which sector we are estimating growth? And which sector we are seeing there is decreasing of growth in these three, primary, secondary and tertiary. Primary is related to agriculture, secondary is related to industry and tertiary is related to services. So in which India is good at? Service sector. So what about this secondary? So whenever the secondary, can I link with this core sector? They are related to industries. So whenever there is decreasing of performance of core sector, obviously this industry's growth will be also decreased. So and even this industries are related to unemployment. So whenever there is decreasing of performance of the secondary sector, obviously it will leads to unemployment. So whenever there is increasing of unemployment rate, can these people will get salary? No. Can these people standard of living will be increased or decreased? Decreased. Will these people, unemployed people will go to market and place the demands? No. So again it is interrelated to decreasing of demand, decreasing of consumption, decreasing of purchasing power. So actually this article is talking about these three sectors now. But you have to interrelate other things like inflation and as well as core sectors, because that will be there always in the news. Okay, now let us see this article in detail. So India's GDP growth has fell to 5.4% in the quarter two of this 2024, and it is lowest when we are comparing from last 7 sectors. That means if you are going back to 1.5 years, and this quarter we have very less growth. And actually, RBI expected that this year the growth will be 7.2%, and we are not going to target to reach this target because of very low growth in this quarter two. And especially this article is saying that agriculture and services, they are showing somewhat growth, but other sector like manufacturing and mining, they are facing declines. So because of this decreasing of growth in manufacturing and mining, now there is a very slow growth of our GDP. Okay, now let us see the key points which are given in this article. The first one is, yes, now we can understand that there is economic slowdown. So now I want to ask one more question, guys. Whenever there is decreasing of economic growth, what will be the impact? Decreasing of economic growth, what will be the impact? Now tell me. What happens? Okay, inflation. Next. Can we attract investments? No. Okay, decreasing of investments. Next. Okay, it may lead to recession. Next. Unemployment rate. Yes, increased unemployment. What about poverty? Increased poverty and hunger. Next. What about government spending? Decrease or increased? Yes, increasing of government spending. And what about monetary policy? Interest rate should be increased or decreased? Okay, decreasing of interest rate so that we can increase money supply in the market. What about production? Production will be decreased. So if production is decreasing, what about our exports? Exports will be decreased. Next, what about tax collection? Especially corporate tax will be increased or decreased. What is corporate tax? Tax paid by companies to government, whether it comes in direct or indirect. Direct. What about this corporate tax? Decreases, not increases. So production is decreasing. How they will pay more tax? They will be paying less tax. So what happens to revenue, tax revenue? Increase or decrease to government? Yeah, decreases. Any more impact? Think and tell me. Government done, investment done. What about banking sector? NPS. What is NPA? Okay. Non-performing assets will increase or decrease. So if people are not having money in their hand, will they pay interest? Will they pay any principal amount? No. Again, there will be increasing of NPS. I said that decreasing of interest rates here. That comes under everything here. So how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 10 to 12 points. So can you write now the answer? What will be the impact of decreasing of economic growth on the different sectors of economy with examples? Okay, so in this way you have to see. So here there will be impact on our economy because of decreasing of growth. And next one here is sectoral disparities. So here this article is saying that agriculture and service sector they are doing good, but mining and manufacturing is not doing good. That means sector wise also there is disparity. There is divide between these sectors. And next one here is we will be having some targets. Like RBI said that in this year we are going to achieve the target of 7.2% of GDP. So if any one quarter it is recording the low growth, we will be not achieving the target. So that is the point which mainly said. So here it will be affecting robust recovery in our country. And even what is happening for the consumption, so there is decreasing of consumption. Now here government need to take more steps to increase the consumption of goods and services in the people. And even investment will also going to be decreased. So because of this there will be slowdown of capital formation. So capital formation means what are the examples of this capital formation? Infrastructure development. Can you give me some examples of this? Okay, can you give me recent government schemes regarding infrastructure development in our country? Okay, which corridor? Sagarmala project, quadrilateral. Next, we are coming up with seaplanes also. In which state recently seaplanes had been inaugurated? Andhra and as well as even Kerala also. And next, we are coming up with different projects like cable projects to reach remote areas. So what are the projects we are coming up? It will be getting done. Okay, so this is the article. See this article. Global Plastic Treaty draft overlooks key issue of limiting production, says group of countries. What is this article talking about? Old topic only, it is Global Plastic Treaty. So where it is happening, in which country? South Korea, place Busan. Okay, so did India satisfied with this draft? No. So actually here you have to know about one important area that had been focused here. Global Plastic Treaty. So from which subject you will be seeing this, guys? Okay, from GS paper 3 under environment and ecology. Only environment and ecology? Yes, GS paper 3 under science and technology. And another area? We are talking about 175 countries they pulled up to come up with this. Yes, from even GS paper 2 under international relations it is important. And we should not forget the map which comes under GS paper 1 under geography. Okay, so what are the dimensions you have to see? You have to see about place, that is South Korea in Busan, and you have to see about what are the proposals under this treaty, and next you have to see about plastic pollution. So before seeing this plastic pollution, you have to see about the components that we will be using for this production of plastic. So tell me, do you know any examples of ingredients that we will be using for production of this plastic? Do you know at least the types of plastics? So if you see your pens, it is made up of one type of plastic. If you see some other instruments, okay, polythene. Do you know the thickness of this plastics? How many of you use this polythene bags, covers? So which kind of covers that we can use? Which should have more thickness or less thickness? Thickness should be more or less. Why more? So if you are using polythene bags, nowadays there is one disclaimer which is coming on the bags. It is more than how much mm? Using only we know, we don't know like how to see that. Yes? Which kind of plastic bags you have to use? Okay, so you have to see the components of plastic and you have to see production of plastic. And you have to know about what are the alternatives of plastics. And if you move on, if you want to move on to alternatives, so what are the challenges which are present with the countries? Okay, so in yesterday's class we discussed about, yes, we are having lot of challenges if you want to move away from the plastic, because what are the alternatives of the plastic? We can use cloths, we can use jute, apart from that we can use paper. Next, what you will be using now? Okay, bamboo. Okay, so rather than this plastic straws, you are using bamboo now. Next, banana leaves. Okay, next. Come on, think. What are the alternatives we have with examples? Paper, banana leaves. Next. Hands. For what? Next. Okay, so what are the challenges we have to move away from the plastic? We don't have technology, right? Proper advanced technology. Next, finance. Next, resources, natural resources we don't have. For example, jute is very highly produced in state of in this Bangladesh compared to that of India. And next, climate change is also an important problem. Because of this, productivity of cotton had been decreased. Next, okay, recycling, very good. Next, okay, awareness, very good. So for all these things, which countries will be get affected? Developed or developing or less developed? Developing and less developed countries will be affected. Okay, so what is the way forward? So how can we make this developing and less developed countries to be get empowered to move away from plastic? So who will be helping? Okay, developed countries, how? Technology transfer and finance. So that is the thing that we talked in our yesterday's class. So actually this article is saying that this global plastic treaty is not efficient because it is not talking about decreasing of plastic production. So here they are talking about how to tackle with the plastic, but they are not talking about how to decrease this plastic production. If we are decreasing plastic production, we can decrease this plastic pollution, right? So if we are not at all decreasing plastic production, how we can decrease this plastic pollution, or how we can handle this plastic pollution? So that is a thing which mainly said in our today's article. Okay, so plastic treaty, global plastic treaty draft overlooks the key issue, that is limiting of production, how we have to decrease the production of plastics. So this is the one important issue which had been highlighted in our today's news. A preliminary draft of global plastic treaty was developed in Busan, South Korea, but 67 out of 175 countries, including European Union and Pacific Island nations, they argue that. So this draft, which is failing to address key issues like limiting of plastic production, and even they are using PET. This is very harmful chemical which we will be using for production of this plastic. So they didn't talk about how we have to decrease this production, and as well as how we have to decrease this harmful chemicals which are involved in the production of the plastic. And even some countries like India and China, they prefer to avoid such discussions because of they are having their vested interest. So especially if India, if it wants to move against the plastic, will it happens? And even India, in India, Prime Minister in his last term itself, he said that we are going to eliminate single-use plastics in our country. For that, he got award also. But do we really stop with that using of single-use plastics, like single-use earbuds, or like you can see straws, that whenever you go for drinking of coconut, they'll be giving you the straws. So those straws are made up of plastic. You will be using only once and you will be throwing it. For example, disposal glasses or disposal plates, etc. Everything is used to, everything is made up of single-use plastic only. Do we completely eliminated that? No. So because of this, some countries like India and China, they are having their vested interest and they want to avoid this kind of discussions. Okay, now let us see here. This treaty is failed to include production limits that could lead to doubling of plastic production by mid-century. If we are coming this kind of treaties, if they are not talking about decreasing of production, what happen? Will the countries, they will stop the production? No. So if the countries are not stopping the production of the plastic, then what happen? It will lead to more increasing of production of this plastic. That could lead to increasing of pollution issues. So here, as soon as possible in this draft, we have to include this provision of limiting of plastic production. And next one here is with plastic which is found even in human tissues and marine life. So even one study which said that even the human body, even in the blood of humans, we have this microplastic. So that much level bioaccumulation, biomagnification which is happening because of extensive use of plastic. So you can imagine that whenever we are seeing in our blood itself, you can understand how far we made that plastic to be integrated in our life. We are not leaving this plastic even in our sleep also because it is in our blood itself. So here it will be having lot of health issues, and even we are not regulating hazardous chemicals which are used for this plastic production. So here we have to control it as soon as possible, and these are the things that we have to include in this treaty as soon as possible regarding at least controlling of hazardous chemicals. And next one here is countries like India and China, they prioritize economic stability over environmental protection. Again, it will be increasing the tension because if you are moving away from this plastic, can we economically sustain? So we don't have technology, we have to invest a lot in that alternatives. So it will be not economically viable for countries like India and China. So because of this, now again there is a tension between development and sustainability. And next one here is this article is saying that we need to have the more regulations. And next one here is we need to have the cooperation between all the countries so that we can address this issue because it is not an individual country problem. It is a global problem now. Okay, and we have to come up with a framework. We need to have a national action plans and we have to enforce that properly. Enforcement is nothing but punishment. That means if any country which is signing this agreement, if they are not following that, compulsory there should be a provision of enforcement, that is punishment, and we need to have the regular audits on that. So that is the thing. And what is the need of this treaty? If you see the data, you will be getting shocked. So plastic production has skyrocketed across the world in the recent decades. So if you see annually, every year, how much amount of plastic is produced? 234 million tons. You can see the data, 234 million tons. We are not producing that much food also, but we are producing that much plastic. Okay, so it is one important thing, and it had been increased to 460 million tons in 2019. 460 million tons of plastic we are producing, and nearly half of this was produced in Asia, and you know the specialty of Asia. And next one here is North America, 19%, Europe 15%. And here OECD is expecting that by 2040 this production will be touched by 700 million tons. And if you see, the problem here is plastic will be decomposed at a very slow rate, and after decomposition also it will become microplastic. That means the size is less than 10 mm. That will be having greater penetration into the soil, greater penetration into the water, and even into the human blood as well. Okay, so here plastic decomposition is very slow. It is anyway 20 to 500 years to decompose. If we are generating 700 million tons of plastic by 2040, so if you are throwing here and there, so how many years it will be taken to decompose? It is impossible. So there will be no soil which we can see on the surface of the earth. We will be seeing entirely microplastic on the surface of the earth. So if we are increasing this microplastic or plastic use, can we ensure the life on this earth? No, there will be no sustenance of life. So it is one of the important problem. And actually one more problem here is when we are going for recycling, only 10%, not more than 10% of this plastic is getting recycled. So this is also one important problem. And because of that, there is lot of impact on our environment, especially rivers, oceans, etc. And even whatever the makeup products we are using day by day, every day, like lotions or scrubs, even they have this microplastics. So that was the question 2022 prelims. Okay, microplastics are present in which of the following products? Even there are some sunscreen products where we are using this microplastics. Okay, and next one is because of using of plastics, especially endocrine disruption. That means nothing but endocrine glands, they will produce hormones in our body. So there will be alteration in the hormone production. So it is one of the important reason why now there is less reproductive rate. So if in the present generation, so 1 in 100, so not in 1 in 5 girls, they are having this PCOD problem because of lack of proper production of hormones in their body. And not only that, there is increasing of especially fertility hospitals. And now if you're keeping any fertility hospital, it is a good business now because there is increasing of infertility in humans. Okay, so it is because of using of plastic. It is one negative impact of using of plastic. And even if you see, there is lot of climate change. In 2020, it is generated around 3.6% of global greenhouse gas emissions. Okay, for this greenhouse gas emissions also, plastic is one of the important reason that is leading to the climate change. Okay, so because of this, we need to come up with this kind of treaty as soon as possible, and we have to make it binding and enforcement on every country so that we can address this problem as soon as possible. Okay, see this article, what is this? Railway to run over 1300 trains for Mahakumbh Mela. So what is the keyword? Mahakumbh Mela. Do you know different words? Ardha Kumbh Mela. Like that, there are different words regarding melas. Do you know this? For every how many years we will be celebrating this? In which areas we will be celebrating this? Do you have any idea? No? Okay. So this article is talking about Mahakumbh Mela. So in which subject you will be reading about this, guys? Okay, GS paper 1 art and culture. So which will comes under part of your festivals, right? Festivals and fairs. So in art and culture, you will be studying about this melas under this topic called as festivals and fairs. Apart from this, from any subject, yes, society. Why society? So we can understand the culture of people there, and even culture exchange between the people which happens at this religious congregations. And next, okay, unity. So it is an example of unity because large gatherings will be happening at this melas. And can we connect this topic with GS paper 1 under geography? Because it happens in the rivers, yes or no? So in this melas, especially people will be gathered to have sacred baths in especially Himalayan rivers. So especially river Ganga. Okay, can we connect this topic with Indian geography? Next. So you will be also getting a case study in GS paper 4 ethics. If you are an officer, if there is any mela which is going to be organized in your area, how can you maintain safety and security? If you are getting an intelligence report like bomb blasting, how you will be control that? And next one here is how to control crowd management to prevent stampede like incidents. So you may get any kind of case study there. Okay, so from all these subjects it is important. But what you have to see here, so you have to understand about what is this mela, and you have to see about different types of mela, and especially you have to focus on years. So in how many years which mela is organized, and you have to see the rivers. Okay, and from society you have to know just analysis of this, and from river Ganga you have to know the basic facts that you will be reading in your NCERT, and from ethics you have to see the case studies part. Okay, now let us see this article. So here Mahakumbh Mela 2025, it is a sacred pilgrimage, and it will be held in Prayagraj. Where is this Prayagraj located? Okay, so it is from 13th January to 26th February 2025, and it is going to draw millions of pilgrims for spiritual purification and culture celebrations. And as you said, it shows about unity in diversity. Okay, so this word kumbh comes from a root word kumbhak. It means sacred pitcher of elixir of immortality. Okay, it is nothing but it talks about immortality. Okay, actually it is one of the largest peaceful congregation of pilgrims on the earth, during which participants, that is pilgrims, take bath or take a dip in sacred river. Especially this gathering will take place at 4 different places. First one is Haridwar. So Haridwar is located on the banks of which river? Ganga. And Ujjain on banks of river Shipra. And Nasik, which is located on the banks of river Godavari. In Prayagraj, we will be seeing the confluence of Ganges and Yamuna. Okay, and in this place, we will believe that this mythical river Saraswati is become invisible here. Okay, so these are the 4 places where we can celebrate this Mela. Okay, and we have different types of Kumbh. The first one is Kumbh Mela. Kumbh Mela is celebrated once in 12 years. Okay, 12 years will be celebrated 4 times. Okay, 4 times over a course of 12 years, and that is at Haridwar, Prayagraj, etc. And Ardha means half. Half means every 6th year we will be celebrating this, and Mahakumbh Mela means 144 years. So we are celebrating this after 144 years, and Mahakumbh is nothing but every year in the month of Magh we will be celebrating this every month. And every once in 6 years, 4 times over 12 years will be Kumbh, and 144 years is Mahakumbh. So we are going to have millions of people in this Mahakumbh. Okay. Yeah, next, very important article. India UK Inc. Pact on Electric Propulsion System for Navy. So what is this article talking about? India UK relations. It is talking about electric propulsion systems of Navy. So we will be using this system especially for submarines. Okay, so this article is talking about India-UK relations. So do we share boundary with UK? Yes or no? So we are not sharing any border with this UK. So it comes under India and its bilateral relations. India bilateral relations. So this article is important from your GS paper 2 under international relations. So recently, can you tell me any advancement between India and UK which we studied in our current affairs? Do we finalize this FTA? What is this FTA? Free trade agreement. So did we finalize this India-UK FTA? Yes? We are going to finalize in 2025. Okay, so one important thing that we have to focus is FTA between India and UK. We are going to finalize in 2025. It had not been done, but it is on stall. Because of elections in India and as well as UK, this FTA had been delayed. That is the thing that we discussed in last class, I think so. Okay, you have to see about what are the areas of cooperation. So why this UK is important for us? So can we have any history? Can we relate it with any part of our history with UK? What is that? So which are the constitutional provisions that we borrowed from UK? Parliament. And did UK rule India? Yes, Britain comes under UK, right? Okay, so we had lots of historical, cultural and political similarities between India and UK. So because of this, from history onwards, we are having a very good ties with UK and we are continuing them. Okay, so now let us see this article. So this article is also important from science and technology, guys. So India and UK, they have a statement of intent to collaborate and to design for the development of electric propulsion system for Indian Navy. And this agreement which had reached during 3rd joint work grouping meeting, and we are going to improve our indigenous capabilities in advanced naval technologies. So we are going to have our indigenous capabilities. Whenever we are getting any technological support from other country and when we are going for development of that equipment in our country, obviously we will be boosting our indigenous capabilities and that will be helpful for Atmanirbhar So what is Atmanirbhar? Atmanirbhar in defense. Atmanirbhar is nothing but self-sufficient. So we will be becoming self-sufficient in this defense equipment production. Okay, so just see about electric propulsion system and see the areas of cooperation between India and UK. That's it, nothing more than this. Yeah, see this article. Shit. Okay, scientists, industry demand for the passage of new seeds bill changes in policy. So we are going to come up with a new seeds bill. Why we need new seeds bills? So seed is related to agriculture. So what is happening in agriculture? So very important problem in our agriculture is we are not getting good quality certified seeds. So because of this, what happened? The agricultural productivity will be decreased, and finally the farmers will be getting affected. So because of this, we didn't achieve the target of doubling of farmers' income by 2024. So because of this, now scientists and as well as industries, they are demanding for the passage of this new seeds bill. Okay. So what will be the advantages? So we are going for revamping of whatever the bill that had been there in 2004. It was outdated. So because of this, we want to come up with the modernizing of our earlier policy so that we can go for innovation. We will be addressing evolving needs of farmers, because the scenario of this 2004 and 2024 is very different. And now there is increasing of droughts, untimely rains, increasing of salinity, decreasing of soil fertility, increasing of pollution, everything which had been there. So because of this, we have to modernize even our policy according to the changing needs. And next one here is we need to come up with the effective partnership between the government and as well as private sector, so that we can enhance the quality of seeds and as well as accessibility of seeds. So because of this, now farmers, they will be receiving high quality seeds that will be helping for them to meet their needs. And next one is we can also go for certification as well. So when we are going for certification, we can decrease adulteration of seeds, and we can improve the quality of seeds, and as well as we can also gain international market access, and our seeds will be becoming competitive in international markets. Okay. And one more important article in today's news is One Nation, One Subscription. Have you seen that news? So what is this One Nation, One Subscription? It is going to provide access to wide range of journals, so that here it will be empowering the researchers and as well as educators to get engaged with latest research developments. Okay, we will be having access to an online access for these researchers, so that will be empowering these educators to get into the details of the recent research and development, so that it will be helpful for in-depth research, and will be also helpful for collaborating in different disciplines, and as such we can come up with new innovations and high quality academic materials as well. Okay, so that is the thing. So I'll be talking about this topic in detail in tomorrow's class. And there is one more article, Finance Minister urges states to support banks in raising credit flow to women SHGs. The keyword is women SHG. What is SHG? Self-help groups. So you have done with that topic in your governance, right? Self-help groups. What are the self-help groups is about? Women, they will be forming the group for a common objective, so that it will be helpful for making them empowered and as well as financially independent. So here our finance minister is asking the banks to give more amount of loans to this SHGs. Then what will be the impact? Okay, it will be increasing empowerment of the women, and next economic growth, financial independence. Okay, so see this article once. So I'll be talking about that One Nation, One Subscription in tomorrow's class. Okay, so these are the important topics that appeared in our today's Hindu newspaper. So by this I'm concluding. Thank you so much guys for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to Rathods Science Academy. And please do attempt daily quiz for sure that we are providing in our app. And also I'm providing daily one mains question and also word of the day in our Telegram channel. Please do join that. Link is given in the description box. And thank you guys.